Let's make the pattern you are seeing on your screen. This is a macro 4 millimeters, and that is what we are going to be using as our insole. So right now I'm going to use my template to mark out the shape of the insoles. Remember what I said about how to get the template that I'm using now. Just use already made sole, mark it out the shape on your cardboard paper, and then reduce the shape by 0.3 inch round, and then you will have the template that I'm now using. So after marking out the insoles, you cut them into shape. After cutting them into shape, we need to sand the edges to be smooth. I'm going to show you how to use your sandpaper to do this also, in case you don't have this tool. You see the sandpaper, wrap it around your brush and then use it to work around the edges. You can also use your filing machine to do the same. So the need for us to do this is to make sure we have a very neat edge after folding. So now here is a foam. I'm going to do something exceptional. I'm going to gum this foam to the macro 4 millimeters because my client wants the insole to be very soft. Then this foam is about 3 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken, about 3 millimeters or so. After applying the gum on the macro 4 millimeters, I won't allow the gum to dry, and I'm not going to apply gum on the foam also. This method will make the work easier and also save you some gum. So we repeat the same thing on the other side of the insole. After gumming the insole to the foam, we are going to cut off the excess. So it is very important that you watch closely to see how I'm holding the insole while I cut off the excess foam. The position you hold the insole while cutting is very important. So you see the foam is facing down while the insole is facing up. So take note of that. So this is the mirror face leather I'm going to use to fold the insoles. Now let's apply our gum. The same process, I'm going to apply gum on this leather only, and I'm not going to apply gum on the surface of the foam. So I will apply the gum and then I will not allow it to dry. I'm going to gum the insoles on it while it is still wet. So I have finished applying the gum on the leather. I have to immediately gum the insoles to the leather. After doing that, I have to turn it, then use my hanky on the surface to make sure I have a proper and smooth bond on the surface area. And the next thing is to apply gum on the edge of the insoles. That's preparation for the folding. This time around, I have to allow the gum to dry or to activate. So once the gum have activated, I'm going to cut off the excess leather. And then after cutting off the excess leather, I'm going to fold the insoles. So after folding the insoles, cut off the crease at the back of your folding. Now the next thing is to stitch round the insoles, which I have done. So let's proceed. Now I'm going to use the insoles, mark out their outline or their shape on my Nora material. I'm using Nora 3mm in this case. You can use 4mm. But I'm using 3mm Nora. So after marking out the shape of the both insoles on the Nora 3mm, I'm going to apply gum on the edge of the lines. That is where our welt will be placed. And also I have applied gum on my welt. So once the gum is set, replace the insole back to its shape and then use 2 nails to hook it to the sew material so that it won't move while you are welting. So once I'm done doing that, I'll pick my welt, then make sure the edge of the welt is neat. I have to cut off the tip of it to make sure I have a straight tip, and then I start my welting from this side of the insole. Like that, I take it gradually round until I get to the other edge of the welt. So once I have gotten to the other edge, I have to make sure that the welt bonded properly, and then I have to remove the insole, then cut slightly after the first edge of the welt, and then bend the sew material a bit and then fix the edge together. By doing so, we'll have a very tight edge. Now we have to move over to the other side as we proceed. After doing that, that is after welting, cut off the excess Nora material. Once you are done cutting off the excess material, prepare your heels and then prepare the area where you are to gum the heel to the soles and then attach your heels. Remember, after attaching the heels, you have to use your mallet on it to make sure it bonds properly. Even after welting, you also need to use your mallet on the welt to make sure it bonds properly. After all this, the next thing is to cut off the excess heel material. So once we are done, we have to go smooth the edge of the soles. So let's proceed with the pattern. This is the pattern we are going to be using, the template. We are going to mark out the shape of the pattern on our leather. So after marking the pattern this way, you turn for the other foot. After marking this way, you turn for the other foot, and then you mark again. So this is the upper that I'm going to use, the leather. I'm going to also use mirror face. So the leather I used the template on is my London. The reason I marked out the pattern on my London is because the mirror face leather, if I mark on it, it might clean off after turning it around, applying my gum and the rest of it. It might easily clean off, so I have to mark out the pattern on my London. So after that, I'll apply gum on both my upper leather and my London, and then gum the both of them together. Remember, I'm not going to stitch the pattern, so I'll use my hanky on the surface to make sure the both bonds properly. Now, after doing that, the next is to cut the patterns into shape. So after cutting the patterns into shape, apply your gum to your upper and to your insole, and then last the pattern. So while lasting the pattern, you have to last the front first. If you watch closely, I am watching the lines on my last. So I'm using the lines on my last to guide me on the lasting. So after lasting the front part, you go over to the back part and then last it. So this is what we have. After the lasting, the next thing is to couple the footwear. So let's proceed. Apply gum on the insoles and on the soles. Allow it to set and then couple the footwear. The reason I prefer starting my coupling from the back of the insole is because it is more convenient and more easier. starting from the back, so that you will get the sitting of the insole on the sole, and it also reduces the risk of mistake. So after the coupling, I will use my mallet on it to make sure it bonds properly. So this is what we have arrived at. If you have any question, feel free to drop them in the comment section, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get updates, because more videos are still coming on the way. Have a nice day, and see you in my next video.